There's no way a young man should ever die from starvation when you've got that much food in the refrigerator.
That I would never starve my son.
This is Tamara Moore, the mother who starved her adopted autistic son while chaining him to a cot.
I don't understand why he didn't have any food in his stomach. I fed him. I went to the car, said, William, something's wrong with JJ. He's still sleeping. I didn't know that he was gone. I'm sorry that this happened to him, period.
On February 6, 2024, officers responded to a call about an unconscious teenager at the Moore home in Springfield Township, Ohio, but found Jeremiah already dead, lying in a laundry room on a cot in nothing but a t-shirt and a soiled diaper. An autopsy later revealed no food in his stomach or intestines, confirming starvation. Investigators discovered he had been chained to the cot and forced to live in a basement utility closet where the temperature was just 56 degrees. In the months before his death, Moore had allegedly kept him isolated, denied him food and water, and failed to report his deteriorating condition. In the end of this interrogation, you will find out which sentence she received.
So you understand that you're being charged with murder, okay? You're being charged with murder and child endangerment is what it is. And the reason for that is after our investigation, after the autopsy and everything else, the coroner felt like there was no natural cause for his death. So I want to give you an opportunity to be honest.
Sure.
I can tell you, I know exactly what happened. Okay, I know why he died, how he died, and everything else. I want to give you the opportunity. I know you cared for him. You took care of him his whole life. That was your son. Just tell us what happened and what led up to him dying and how he died.
For the most part, I've been very sick. I've been taking care of him and my mother the very best that I could. That particular morning, I had to find out some information concerning my mom's, whatever she had, and I called my aunt because I was grieving and vomiting violently. I just asked William, can you check on JJ for me? I'm really sick, which I did. I have 3 autoimmune diseases. He said, okay. And what I do when I'm really, really sick like that, I have breakfast bars and applesauce. But he had a seizure the night before. So I was afraid for him to come up the steps because when he has seizures, he falls and he can hurt himself. He'll be walking or in the store, he'll just fall out. So I didn't want that. The downstairs is the only place that was heated the best, I thought. But as I researched and went down to clean, William had 2 heaters in the family room, which was pulling the heat. Our heat isn't really working adequately.
You say your furnace.
No, our electricity.
Your electricity. Okay.
Right, the furnace is fine. It's
Okay.
the electricity.
Okay.
So I've been calling to get around to see what we could do. And I'm sorry, I'm shaking, I'm freezing in here. Working with people working cooperatively to see if I can get on a list for them to help me get that done. So he went down and he said he's fine. And I've spoken with my aunt concerning my mom to ask her, do you know if she has any, anything? Can you tell me anything about any policies or anything? We need to get this done.
For financial help.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And crying. It's still grieving the loss of my mother. We just laid her to rest in December. She passed to natural causes. So anyway, later on, she said, well, can you get down the steps? I said, yeah, I need to check on him. I made him something to eat, and I called for him, but I was like, I remember, I don't want him coming up the steps, because if he has a seizure, which he has done, he can fall down the steps. So I said, William, can you check on JJ for me? He was in the van, which he loved to do, just sit in the van. And so I said, and Diana, she said, well, let me talk to him. I said, okay. When I went downstairs, which was later on when I felt strong enough for myself, because I was very weak as well. I walked down the steps, and I don't know, I freaked out. I thought that I could wake him up. But his lips were blue, and he was cold. That's what I remember. and I just freaked out. I just wanted my baby to wake up. I just wanted him. And so I don't know what she said. I don't know what I said, but I said, I'm about to get William to help me wake him up. I went to the car. William, something's wrong with JJ. He's still sleeping. I didn't know that he was gone. I didn't know that he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so let's start. Look, I performed CPR on my mom, but I was like, I need some help. And he just sat in the van. He just sat in the van. And I'm screaming outside. I need help. I need help with him. He comes in casually and he goes downstairs. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, I have to call my mom. I thought I had to call my mom, and my mom is gone. I had to call my family because I wanted him to wake up. I didn't know. My mind wasn't right. And I called my cousin. He said, call 911. I said, I forgot to do that. I don't know what's going on. William was like, I don't know what happened. And I said, is he still alive? Is he still alive? And he said, I don't know. I don't know, Tammy. They wouldn't let me go back downstairs to hold him.
William wouldn't? Okay.
No. And I came back upstairs and I called 911. Still hoping that maybe he could still be alive. Still hoping that maybe he could still be alive. I would never do anything to my son.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Let's back up just a little bit.
Sure.
Because what we try to do, obviously, whenever there's anything like this happens, we try to create a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that we know from the coroner and some of the things that you've said sort of contradict each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to create a timeline. And looking at your phone, that morning you were making a lot of calls. I know you called au pairs, and
Mm-hmm.
you were calling some investors that,
Not investors.
well, somebody was trying to buy the house. Is that correct?
No.
Because you had quite a bit of, like, there was calls from investors that were returning your phone calls.
Maybe so. I don't know.
Okay. And then at 12:04 is when you began calling family.
Mm-hmm.
So is that when you found Jeremiah, JJ, non-responsive?
I don't even remember. I think it was later than that. I think that William had said that he was okay and he had given him something to eat already.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, let me call and ask Aunt Diana to make some more calls to try to see if we can get something to get this electricity back on. That was my main goal.
So let me ask you, in your previous statements, you stated that you went down around 11 o'clock and you checked on him, that he was okay. You gave him some soup, you gave him something to drink.
Yes.
And you gave him his meds, and I believe you said that you changed his pull-up.
No, I did not say that.
Okay.
No, I did not change his breathe.
You didn't
That would have been too
pull-ups that
difficult.
day?
No.
Okay. Okay.
And I was going to do that later.
Okay. So you said that was around 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And so again, you started talking, you called Aunt Diana at 12:04
Mm-hmm.
p.m. and you talked to her with a few minute break. I mean, you hung up a couple times just for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would call her right back.
Mm-hmm.
But you talked to her for almost 5.5 hours
Mm-hmm.
that afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I know again, going back to your initial statements, you said you went back down around 4-ish.
That's what I thought.
There.
Yeah.
And that's when you found
Mm-hmm.
JJ unresponsive.
Correct.
Now at 4 o'clock, your phone shows that you were on the phone with your Aunt Diana.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm just trying to create. At this point, it's not that big of a deal. That's where I just need you to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you said you found him at 4. You didn't call until 6 initially. That was your initial statement.
Mm-hmm.
It's my opinion, through my investigation, that you probably found him around noon, and that's when the phone calls, because you made 15 phone calls between noon and calling 911.
No, I did not find him that late. I thought that William had checked on him. I was calling family members to kind of find out how I could either get this household or get the electrical problem. But I thought that he was okay. I trusted William and thought that he was okay.
So I'm going to show you some pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to just sort of explain why the marks would be there the way they are. So according to the coroner,
Mm-hmm.
okay, obviously those are the restraints that were on
Mm-hmm.
the cot.
Mm-hmm.
So this is his wrist. And according to the coroner, these markings on his wrist are ligature marks caused by the restraints. Can you explain that to me?
I can, but we didn't use these. I quit using them.
You quit using them.
Yeah,
So you
they
used
didn't really
them
work.
in the past.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
A couple of times, and then I stopped.
Okay. Is there a reason why you left them there, or you didn't take them off, or? I'm just trying to understand.
I understand.
Okay.
I just didn't take them off.
Okay. How long ago when was the last time you used them?
Probably last year.
Last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you would use them when he had seizures,
Mm-hmm.
is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Only to administer his medications for my safety.
Okay. So you put him in the restraints, give him his medication, and then would you leave him in the restraints until he calmed down?
He would calm down immediately.
Okay, because I know your statements were after a seizure, he'd get aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
It would be, yes.
Okay.
And then once the medicine kicked in, he would calm down.
Okay, so you kept him in the restraints just as long until he calmed down.
Correct.
And then you take him out of the
Mm-hmm.
restraints. Okay. So he never was left in the room
No.
with restraints
Never.
on him or anything like
Never, ever, ever.
that? Okay. When he would get aggressive, would you put him in the laundry room and lock the door?
Absolutely not.
Come after you?
No.
Or William?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So let me ask you this. You know, I know you had a dog,
Mm-hmm.
and we found this dog collar right underneath the head of his cot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And again, according to the coroner, these ligature marks on his neck match up with the same size of the dog collar. So
I never put a dog collar on him. JJ would scratch himself.
okay. Okay. I'm just trying to understand because obviously the coroner's telling us something, you know,
Right.
and she's saying that these ligature marks have the same size as this dog collar.
No, that is not. Okay, I understand.
Okay, but you're saying you never use that.
Never.
Down or
Never.
Okay.
Never.
All right. Okay. So now you say the night before he had a seizure.
Mm-hmm.
You checked on him at 11. Was your statement prior?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still stating that you went down around 11 o'clock to check on him?
I'm going to say I don't really recall. My mind was gone.
Okay. So you don't know. Did you ever go down to check on him the day that you?
I did.
Okay. Do you roughly just?
I don't know. During the conversation with somebody, probably my aunt, I don't recall. That day was horrible.
I understand. So here's just something else I wanted to show you real quick. Obviously, you say you put him down in the basement because that was the warmest spot and the safest spot. When the coroner got there, and I will be the first to tell you, we did have the front door open for a few minutes to try to air it out a little bit because the smell of the mothballs was getting to us. So this was the ambient air temperature of the laundry room when the coroner showed up. So obviously, you know, it was 56.4 degrees in the basement. And then we know you had that fireplace going upstairs. And when we looked at the thermostat on upstairs, it was like 74 degrees upstairs.
Right. It doesn't. It goes in and out, the electricity. So my room is freezing. That has been the only room.
Your room upstairs?
Upstairs, yes.
Okay.
That stays warm.
What room stays?
Downstairs.
So the laundry room is the only room that stays warm?
But you can close it and kind of keep the door cracked, and he had a heater in there.
Okay.
I don't know why it was that cold that day, because it's a heater in there. He's usually warmer than I am.
Okay. All right. So let me see what else. So you don't know why he would have died?
No.
Or what caused him to die?
I don't.
Okay. Now, I was like, when we found him, I know you said you went down and you fed him that morning some soup and gave him his meds and everything else. When we got there at 6 o'clock, I don't know if you remember or.
I don't.
But the condition of the cot and the condition that he was in was pretty bad. I mean, this is like a picture of the cot, you know, with his feces.
I didn't even see that. That wasn't like that.
Okay. And
No.
Well, that's when we got there. Those are our pictures when we got there at 6 o'clock. This was his diaper. I mean, or his pull-up.
Yeah, that wasn't like that.
Yeah, obviously that's pretty old, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
That wasn't like that. He stays clean. I take care of my son.
well, the thing, again, I'm trying to understand because when I look at this picture, I see something that, in my opinion, had to be. I mean, honestly, I'll be honest. This looks like it's been on him for days.
No, no.
I mean, with the dried up
I see that.
feces,
No,
you know, everything else here.
no,
Okay.
no.
So when was the last time you think you changed his?
The day before.
Okay.
The day that he had the seizure.
Okay. Do you know around what time?
I don't.
All right. Because again, I'm not trying to upset you, but I want you to understand why I'm asking you these questions.
I understand.
Obviously, that's what was on the cot. You know, I mean, the cot was pretty bad. So I'm just trying to get a better understanding, help me understand. Because when I look at these pictures, I think, okay, his pull-up hadn't been changed for days. You know,
it's never been.
I mean, he had feces all over him, his shirt, his arms, his hands, his legs.
I don't even, when I went down there, I don't even remember seeing any feces on him. I don't know where my mind was, but I don't remember that. When I remember rocking him, I don't remember seeing any feces on him.
When you say rocking him, can you
to try to wake him up?
Okay. So when you went to go wake him up, do you know what rigor mortis is?
I do.
Okay. So, you know, rigor mortis is when you're stiff. When you rocked him, was he stiff?
I can't tell you.
You don't remember?
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
But he is always kept really clean, changed. He's never had feces on him. That's never been part of what I do. Okay. I've given everything to him and tried everything to take care of him.
I know in the interview, the first interview you gave us, you mentioned how you've sacrificed your life.
Yes.
You felt like you sacrificed your life.
That's what parents do.
To be able to take care of JJ and your mother.
Correct. And I would do it again.
Okay. All right. There was no, like, I'm just done. I can't do it anymore.
Never. My whole process was get the house cleaned up, but we couldn't get any electricity, sell it, and me and JJ go into something else and live a better life.
Okay. So I'm just going to show you these pictures. Obviously, there was electric in the house, correct? Because the refrigerators were working, and obviously you had tons of food in multiple refrigerators. Those are
not mine downstairs. Those are not mine. The refrigerators are not mine downstairs. Those are Williams. Okay, so you didn't share food together, or no?
Well, I'm just asking. So the food in this refrigerator, William wouldn't eat.
Yeah, he would eat our food.
Okay,
but he had his own food.
Okay, so he wouldn't allow you to go down there and eat your food?
No.
But your refrigerator you had plenty of food, correct? Yeah. So that wasn't an issue where you couldn't afford food or anything like that?
I was struggling. My aunt and family members would send food, but...
Send food or just send money for food?
No, Instacart. Especially when my mother
they would order it at like Kroger's or something? Okay. But food wasn't an issue?
Never.
Okay, so that wasn't a problem?
No.
So if I tell you that the cause of death for JJ was that he starved to death, would you be able to explain that to me? Why?
I can explain that. He ate all the time.
Well, I know he had pica, so he wanted to eat all the time.
Yes,
right?
He had pica.
Yeah. Did you have a funeral for JJ? Was there a funeral?
No.
Okay. What did you do with his body?
He's been urn. He's been cremated.
Okay. So again, we believe that the cause of death was starvation, which means that he wouldn't have eaten anything for, if not days, weeks. And he would have been very weak there at the end. Let me finish real quick, because I want you to understand what we know, so you can. I honestly I think you know the truth.
I don't.
You know the truth.
I don't.
And I want to give you the opportunity to be honest.
Sure.
Because we know the truth. And the truth is that he hadn't eaten or drank anything in days.
That's not true.
If not weeks.
That's not true.
So towards the end of his life, he would have been very weak.
No.
He wouldn't have been able to get up and walk around.
That's not true. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. And let me say this. I was struggling financially. My aunt helped. I got $15 a month in food stamps. William ate and got food stamps on his own and did what he wanted to do. When he was going to Children's Hospital, they changed his medication because JJ's appetite decreased. I would give him food all the time. Sometimes he would want to eat and sometimes he wouldn't. I had an appointment coming up the next day to talk to a new neurologist to kind of see, well, where are we at with his weight? What can we do to increase it? What can I do?
With his weight?
Yes, with his weight. But I've never.
So did you notice a weight loss?
I thought he was gaining, and then when my mom passed, I saw him. It was a concern of mine. Yes, I put it out, and he would just not want to eat, and I thought maybe he was going through some kind of depression. But not eating, not for weeks. No, that is not true. That is not true whatsoever. That is not true.
Okay. So let me ask you: when your mom was alive, was she the primary caregiver for JJ? Like,
No.
did she? I mean, obviously you couldn't drive, correct?
Right.
So your mom would drive him to school when he went
She
to
would drive to
ABS.
school, yes. Mhm.
She would drive him to doctor appointments, and she would.
A few.
Is she the one that would get his lunch ready for school,
Never.
or get him dressed,
Never.
or any of that?
Never.
Okay. So you're saying you did all that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Most of the correspondence, like with doctors, when you spoke to the doctors, and I'm talking when your mom was alive and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Who were those conversations with mostly?
I'm sorry. What it,
So if you spoke to a doctor,
mm-hmm.
Would it be you talking to the doctor, your mom talking to the doctor, or would it be both of you?
If I wasn't there, we would do a conference call.
Okay.
And I would be the main one talking to the doctor.
Okay. So your mom, how much involvement did your mom have in taking care of JJ?
About 30%. She didn't buy clothes. She didn't get him dressed. She just was mostly the transporter.
Okay. All right. And real quick, I don't mean to pry too much, but so what happened to your mom?
She got sick.
Did something happen to her, or did she have a stroke, or?
Mm-hmm.
So she had a stroke?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you think we need to know? Obviously, I've sort of laid down the groundwork, trying to get to the bottom of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
This is the type of case where, we depend on other professional opinions. This isn't like a shooting or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we would rely a lot on the doctors and everything else. So if there's something that you can do to help us, I want to give you the opportunity to tell us what happened, why, how, when, and everything else. And
that's the summation of what I can say.
Okay.
I didn't know that was the cause. I didn't know that was what was going on. I did see that he had gained and then he was losing, and I knew that there would be times that he wouldn't want to eat, and I thought that he was going through some depression. I made an appointment with a neurologist because the last medication made his appetite decrease. But I fed him.
Now, let me ask you this, because again, I want to make sure I understand, because I think in the previous, all I know is what you told us before.
Mm-hmm.
In the previous interview, you mentioned how he had pica.
Yes,
he would get into everything. If he could get his hands on some food, he would get in it and he would eat it. And now you're telling us that his appetite was decreased, and
in the past.
With pica though, would that medication still?
No, the pica had decreased, but I think that after talking with his old doctor, he said, my concern is that this medication is probably causing him to have a decrease. Let's switch it.
Who's his old doctor?
Dr. Shapiro.
Okay.
From Children's Hospital.
So why are you no longer seeing Dr. Shapiro?
He retired.
Okay. So before he retired, he told you that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How do you know he was gaining and losing weight? How did you determine that?
Just by looking at him.
So there was no scale. You didn't have a scale. So
Yeah, I had a scale, and he had picked up about 10 pounds, and then it broke.
Okay. So you knew that he was gaining weight just because of the scale that you used at the house. So it wasn't
Right.
anything from doctor visits or anything.
No.
So there wasn't weights that you were getting from doctors saying
No.
he weighed this much,
No.
weight, lost weight.
No, but I figured that going to the appointment at Children's Hospital, setting that up, we would find out.
I know we kind of talked about this a little bit previously about those doctor's appointments. How many times did the doctors actually physically see him? Because I know that a lot of the stuff was virtual, but
It was. We were getting back to it because I was taking care of my mom, and I couldn't take the risk of getting her sick. nor myself. So a lot of his appointments were virtual or telephone. But with my mom transitioning, I was going to get back to having in-person appointments and just putting a mask on it.
Okay. But prior to, when do you think the last time somebody, a doctor, physician, primary care, whatever, when do you think the last time that somebody physically saw, JJ?
In person?
Yeah, whether it was at your house or in the doctor's office?
Last year, sometime maybe the beginning of the year, Dr. Shapiro saw him at Children's Hospital in Liberty Township.
When was that? I'm sorry. When did you say?
That was last year,
Last year.
I believe. I'm not certain.
Okay.
Can we talk a little bit about, you said that you tried to do CPR.
Not on him.
Not on JJ?
No.
Okay. And that was something that we talked about, that you mentioned the first time, was that you tried to do CPR, but you didn't do
I don't
CPR.
think I did. I think I was just rocking him, trying to wake him up.
Okay. Gotcha. William didn't try to do CPR on him that you were aware of, or that you saw?
No.
Okay.
Not to get too personal, but why did you kick William out?
Let's not use that term. But
Okay. Why did you ask him to leave?
just everything that the loss and needing support, and missing my son and my mother.
Okay. I know I'm going to go back to the first interview again, and I believe it was Lieutenant Wilcher here that asked the question about discipline and William disciplining JJ.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, when I watched the interview, there is a eerie pause by you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if you were trying to protect William but I'm going to ask you again, when it came to discipline or anything like that, abuse, I know there was one time where JFS was called for some sort of abuse
No,
from William, stating that he pushed him down.
no, there wasn't.
He would trip him and push him, and
There wasn't any.
there was a lot of yelling. There is. I can tell you there is.
Oh, okay.
Okay. There is a complaint that
Okay.
JFS investigated. Now, they found it to be unsubstantial, but
Mhm.
I want to give you an opportunity to, let's go back to the disciplining from
Mhm.
William.
Yes.
How would that happen, or what happened there?
Whew.
And at this point, there's no reason to protect him.
I understand. I wasn't protecting him. I think that I'm in shock.
Okay.
I know that I'm in shock. I wasn't brought up with corporal discipline, and I tried to get William out of my home for quite some time. It was too harsh and overkill, ridiculous. It was scary. I'm shaking cold.
Sorry, if I had something to give you, I would. But
The heat did kick on a little bit. I feel like we turned it up, so I think it's going up a little bit here.
I have it was too much. It was horrible sometimes. His yelling, screaming at the both of us.
At the both of you? Okay.
It was bad. And so I just tried to keep things together for my family. Taking care of my mother with a limited budget. Being very sick myself. And trying to love my son. I would never try to starve him. I would never hurt him. But my main goal was to move. And I guess I had this dream that we would have a better life. Selling the house and getting something smaller so that I could give him a better life away from William.
Do you feel like you've been honest with us to this point? Do you feel like you've been honest with us? And
I do.
while I know that you believe that certain things that we're telling you can't be true,
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that we're not here lying to you about anything that we've discussed today. That these are things that you will hear again, and these are things that will be provable by whoever you discuss things with after this, whether it's your attorney, you see anything else, but these are things that you will see again and hear again as a result of us telling you this. Now, there's probably a few other things that we haven't discussed or talked about But I will tell you that we're not here lying to you, trying to get you to tell us something just to say you did or didn't do anything. We're here telling you that this is the chance that you have to be able to describe as much as you can, honestly as you can. And right now, I'm having a hard time believing that you're being honest with us. And I kind of went through that the first time I talked to you. Is like, we need to be honest. And honesty is the key for how this works and going forward from here. And again, you're college educated, you're smart, you understand how this works. But if we go forward from here and then we continue to investigate, which we will, we'll continue to investigate. And I can tell you right now, there are things that you told us in the first interview that we discussed things, and things you're telling us now, they contradict each other. I will tell you that there are things that you told me that just flat are not true. And those are things that if you want to try and keep digging that hole of, I didn't do this, I didn't do this, I didn't do this, there's not going to be a way out for you down the road. Because after today, I don't think that you'll ever talk to us again unless you're going to leave here and walk out of this room and you're going to go to the Hamilton County Justice Center and go see a judge and you're going to talk to an attorney. And unless you have a change of heart and a change of mind that says, I need to be way more honest than what I was, you're not going to talk to us again after this. So if you're comfortable with us walking out of this room right now and you feel like you've been honest with us all the way through with everything and that you haven't held back, then we'll accept that and we'll move on and we'll go forward. But as you sit here, you know that we've charged you with some very serious crimes, that the grand jury has heard this and has indicted you on these very serious crimes. And moving forward, it's going to be up to you to try and figure out if you can disprove the things that we just said. I don't know how you disprove what a coroner says about somebody having no food in their stomach and they died from starvation. It's a horrible, painful, suffering death. That is what JJ went through. And for someone that has done everything in their life to care for him, that puts everything ahead of him, I don't believe that you're telling us the truth right now.
I am, and I believe.
Okay. That's all you have to say.
Yeah, the question. I will answer them honestly. There are more questions, but
I just don't think that you are. I think you're leaving things out purposely to try and make it seem like you weren't neglecting him, but there's obvious neglect. There's pictures are neglect. Him not having any food in his stomach is neglect.
I don't understand that. And that's the honest to God's truth. I don't understand it.
I'll be honest with you, neither do we. And it's very tough for us to sit here and think that someone could not feed their child, that someone would not take care of them, that someone possibly locked them in a room, not just in a bedroom. Again, I could maybe understand a little bit about the bedroom and with a lock on there, because if you're concerned that if he gets out and you guys are sleeping and he might go out, he could get into things and you're concerned with that. But you left him in a room with anything you could think of that could be all kinds of, that could hurt him, injure him. It wasn't comfortable for him in there. It couldn't have been.
It was temporary,
but it wasn't temporary.
He
hasn't been in his bedroom for a year. You just said that.
He's been in my room.
But he couldn't have been in your room.
He was.
You just said that he had to be down in the basement. You couldn't go down in the basement because it's colder.
When it got colder, he was down there because I didn't have adequate heat.
There's plenty of adequate heat upstairs. So that's another thing that we have a hard time with. That there was adequate heat. There was the ability to do those things. And then we talked about it. As a matter of fact, I remember you got a little frustrated with me when I asked you about you telling me how you had to use an extension cord to run things upstairs and to do whatever. That this is only, the electric only worked in certain areas.
It goes out. Right. It goes out.
And I understand that, but I will tell you that the entire time that we were there, we spent a lot of time at your house, taking pictures, investigating, searching, and everything, and nothing ever went out. We actually came back to your house again, and I still don't think there was anything out. So when the frustration that you had with me when I asked the question about why wouldn't you just run the extension cord upstairs to heat the upstairs in your room, you got very frustrated with me about that particular question.
We did, but William uses the electricity from the car, and he was running 2 heaters in the downstairs, which pulled, and it would knock everything out upstairs.
But not while we were there. That wasn't happening while we were there.
Listen, he wasn't in the van running it, and he didn't have on the heater downstairs. So no, it would not. You can't even turn on a microwave and a burner at the same time without the power going out.
Like I said, we were there. I feel like there was a fair amount of lights and electric, bathroom, kitchen and everything else. I want to be able to understand. But
You also asked me why didn't I go to my family to get help for electricity as well. I remember that. I recall.
I did ask you. I believe I did ask you that. Why didn't you just ask your family if they could help you
I
with
did.
the bill, with
I
the
have.
payment or anything? And they put you up in a hotel for
They did. I was in a hotel.
for 6 weeks. So
I was in a hotel. We were.
And I believe you. I understand that. So during that 6 weeks time period, then you came back to the house. In, was it December? You were there from December to
That was
January.
January.
You were there from December to January. So I don't know what happened, but I don't. That's the part where we're trying to figure out how all this went from you were at the hotel, needed help with electric, all those things, and then now JJ's not getting fed. He's dehydrated. He's starving. He's not being taken care of. Those are the things. That's what we're looking at here, and we're seeing. It's very difficult to try and understand that. How are we supposed to explain something? Because while as much as we try to prove that somebody did something wrong, we also need to be able to have the answers to show that somebody's doing something right. And that's what we're asking you. And you're telling us that you did all these things, but there's evidence that suggests you did not.
I did. I fed my son. I gave him food. I don't understand this.
Do you have any questions for us?
Where do we go from here? Where do I go from here?
Tamara, can I ask you something?
Yes.
Do you have any regret or remorse or feelings of, I could have done better? Or do you even feel like maybe I screwed up? Things got too out of control. Things got too out of hand. My life was spiraling. I was in a bad relationship. I needed to get out of the house. I lost my mother, all these things going on. And do you think that maybe just for all the stuff that was going on, is there a chance that you just couldn't deal with anything and you just said, I'm not going to deal with JJ, I'm not going to deal with William, and just...
Never JJ. Never JJ. But I do.
I don't understand. I mean, we're parents, all right? I don't understand how he does not have anything in his stomach, Tamara. He doesn't have anything in his stomach. He doesn't have anything in his intestines. He's covered in feces. This is a kid that can't take care of himself. He needs you to do this.
I understand.
He needs you.
I understand.
He needs somebody to do this. He laid on a cot and suffered. He suffered horribly. My heart is broken for him. And you're supposed to be his mother. You're supposed to be the one that takes care of him. Tell me why. Tell me.
I don't know what to tell you, but that I've given and I loved and I fed him and I did everything that I could for him.
But you stopped at some point.
I did not.
You had to have.
I did not.
You had to have stopped.
I did not.
You absolutely stopped.
I did not.
Then why does he not have food in his stomach?
I don't
Why
understand.
did he lose the amount of weight that he's lost? Why weren't you getting him to the doctor? Why weren't you letting him see people?
I had to depend on transportation. What do you mean see people?
Why wouldn't you let him see the doctors and go physically get there? Go to those places. Let him not be in school and interact with other people.
I explained that to you. We were getting back to that.
Do you think that doctor that you tell? Do you think she's going to tell us that she says that?
Yes.
Do you think she will tell us that?
I do. Yes.
Okay. I don't necessarily think that would be the case because I feel like with today's society and medical advancements, I think people can do a lot of things that don't need them to do that way. But I and Detective K and anybody else does, but we want to know why. We want to know why things happen. Sometimes we don't get the answers, and I don't think we're going to get those answers today from you either. But you don't even seem sorry or upset or have any remorse for what's going on, and the fact that we're sitting here telling you that the child that you adopted at the age of 11 months suffered for the better part of at least a couple weeks, if not longer. And was in a basement in a room that had nothing but chemicals and cement, and the best place for him to be is all this. None of this makes sense to me. Doesn't make sense at all.
Understand. I've been grieving for some time now. I don't have to just show.
So is that the reason? Is that the reason why you lost touch with JJ because of your grief?
No. And I have given, and right now I'm in shock. Just like I did not remember you. I remember your words.
I understand, and I can appreciate that, and I understand that there is a shock factor that kind of goes with that.
Right.
But at the same time, like, you're saying things to try and alleviate the responsibility for what happened to JJ to us right now.
No.
You're trying to tell us that you didn't do anything wrong. That's what you're doing right now. You're telling us you didn't do anything wrong.
Sir, I'm speaking the facts. I did everything for my son to keep him healthy and alive. I gave everything. When everybody gave up and said he'd be a lump on a log, I fought for him. I fought for him to walk. I fought for him for everything. If you call back at ABS, even though my mom dropped him off, I was at the meetings. I was at the one trying to get him the best care. I tried to do everything to keep him together and to make sure that he was okay. I would never starve my son. I don't understand why he didn't have any food in his stomach, and I promise you that I don't understand it. I never would do anything to put him in harm's way. I take that very seriously. I'm not going to break down here because I'm in shock. I'm in shock. But I love him. I will always love him. And I did everything that I could to make sure he was okay. I don't understand that he never laid around in feces ever.
You want to see the pictures again?
I don't need to.
I would say that he did lay around in
I
feces.
know that now, but I'm saying previously.
Here's what I'm going to tell you, and you just hit the nail on the head there. Previously, everything you just said, I 100% agree with. I wouldn't say one thing you just said was incorrect previously, but there came a point recently where you gave up, and it was too much for you, and you couldn't handle it, and you stopped doing all those things that you just mentioned. And again, you can say what you want to, okay? But the physical evidence proves otherwise. There's nothing that you're going to be able to say or do that will prove that the evidence we have is incorrect or not right, or you're not going to prove otherwise because it's impossible to do. And that's why, honestly, that's why I wanted to talk to you today, okay? I wanted to talk to you, like he said, to give you an opportunity to tell us what happened, why.
The detective abandons professional distance. This is not an interrogation anymore. It's a moral confrontation. Psychologically, the detective is performing projective identification. He places his own horror and grief into the mother, hoping she will absorb it and confess. But she does not. The gap between forensic reality and her emotional script has never been wider. This moment reveals a classic criminal psychology pattern. When a caregiver has compassion fatigue or burnout, they often continue to believe they are doing enough, even as the child deteriorates. The detective's raised voice is a last attempt to shatter that delusion. It fails.
And there comes a point where as human beings, we shut down. And if we can't get the help we need, you're going to take care of yourself first. And that's human nature. It's normal. I'm not saying that anything that you were going through was wrong or the way you handled it was wrong. But what you need to do is look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and say, yes, this is what happened or whatever. Because whatever you tell us, okay, we can prove otherwise. Because your son was not fed. Your son didn't have any liquids in his body. They did a toxicology, blood work. There was none of his meds were in his bloodstream.
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, he was covered in feces. He was dirty. He was hungry. He was thirsty. He wasn't taken care of. So I will give you all the credit in the world up to, I don't know what point that happened or what day that happened, but something happened where you shut down and you made the decision, I can't do it anymore. And until we can't help you, like he said, you're showing no remorse. When we go to court and the prosecutor talks to us and she asks, did she show any remorse? Was she honest about anything? Did she help you out at all? Did she explain why she did what she did? All those answers right now are no.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay.
I just,
all right.
I just love my son. I love my son.
I never once said you didn't. I never once said you didn't love your son. But sometimes taking care of a special needs young man like JJ, okay, who has the mentality of like an 18-month-old.
More than that.
Okay.
But that wasn't going to change. He was never going to be anything. He was never going to get better. He was never going to be able to do anything better because of the situation he was in. You said that he was never going to be able to take care of himself. He's always going to need somebody to be there for him. He's always going to need somebody to take care of him. He was never going to be able to live on his own, do any of those other things. You were always going to have to take care of him for the rest of your life and his life.
And that becomes overwhelming. It becomes overwhelming. And it's okay. It's okay. People need help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, again, I'm not like coming at you, judging you. Okay? But what frustrates me is I don't care what you say. All right? We know what happened. And until you look in the mirror and you tell yourself, I have to be honest with myself to get any help at all from us, any help from us. All right, you are being charged with 2 counts of murder, okay? You're looking at 15 years to life.
Mm-hmm.
You may never see outside again.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way that will ever happen is if you're honest with us and we can go to the prosecutor and say, hey, this lady was just overwhelmed. She needed help. She didn't know where to go, something. But you're not giving us anything to try to help you. And I can't promise you that we could help a little.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you you're not going to prison.
What do you think Will's going to say to us?
I have no idea.
We're going to find him. We're going to talk to him. I already told you that there's contradictions between the two of your statements with what he told us that night.
Mm-hmm.
And that night, based on everything that I heard, I feel like you guys were a strong, loving couple. I didn't really think that you guys were not anything what you just talked about today.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like you guys were known each other for a long time, had a relationship, went away from that relationship, got back into it again, and if you guys were a good couple, and just based on what I heard, I didn't think that it was a horrible relationship. Nobody described that any other way, but he's going to get an opportunity to talk to us as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I would expect that if he does talk to us, that he's going to be either contradicting what you said or he's going to do everything he can to point the finger at you.
Mm-hmm.
And he already has. I mean, his first interview, he pointed the finger, he put all the responsibility on you practically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to try to save his butt if he can.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to do what you can to try to help yourself.
I understand.
Okay?
Yes.
And this is why I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to give you the opportunity. I felt after thinking about it and going through it for all these months and knowing that you're being charged with murder
Mm-hmm.
and that it's real now,
It is.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe you would, just be honest with us and tell us what happened. And you're not. You're not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many holes and gaps in everything that you said for us to be able to say that she told us the truth about something. You're going to tell us you told us the truth. I'm telling you that's not going to work when we go to court. It's not going to work. Your attorney is going to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
did you feed him? And you're going to say yes, and he's going to look at a piece of paper that says, this paper says you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, what's the answer to that? Other than I fed him.
I did.
That's not the answer, though. Who's going to believe that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Aunt Diana believes that. I don't think your brother believes that. I don't think anybody that you call into this room that it loves you and cares about you, is in your corner, will be right there standing beside you through this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any one of those people walk into this room and after we tell them that,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to believe it either.
I believe they will.
Then they are
Good
just
luck.
as delusional as what
Good
you are
luck.
right now with this.
Because you're gambling with your life.
It's not
You
even
understand?
about them right now. It's about me and.
Well, you're right. It is about you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing everything you can to make it about you. And we are trying to do everything we can to be a voice for someone that can't sit here and talk to us and tell us those things.
I respect that and I understand
And
that.
I want to be able to have sympathy for what you're going through, and I do to an extent. But I'm also sitting here looking at somebody that is sitting here telling us things that we know aren't true,
Mm-hmm.
and they're lying to us, which we expect. We expect people to lie to us. But at the same time, you know what people that have remorse do? They tell us the truth when it hurts the worst.
Mm-hmm.
When they know that they're going to say words that come out of their mouth that are going to make it look like they did something they shouldn't have, but because they have remorse and because they care about the person that they did something they wish they never did to them, their son, somebody they loved and cared about,
Mm-hmm.
that's what comes out in these rooms sometimes.
I understand.
But you're not there. You don't want to do that. And you're not going to have that opportunity to talk to us again because I don't think your attorney will ever let you do that. But we're going to walk out of this room now. And the last thing that we're going to sit here and talk to each other, we're going to go talk about this and tell the prosecutor is that she had the opportunity to apologize in a setting like this, to say, I'm sorry for making mistakes. I'm sorry for doing what I did. I had all this going on and I screwed up.
I was overwhelmed. And I'm sorry that my son is gone.
Do you take responsibility in that?
I do not.
That's where we're going to have the issue for the rest of this time while this is going on. Because if you don't take the responsibility in that, who's to blame? Whose fault is it that he didn't eat?
I don't understand that.
Here's something you have to understand. You're sorry that your son's gone, but it was your responsibility to take care of
I
him.
understand that.
And the reasons that he died were the exact same reasons or responsibilities that you had to take care of him. It was your responsibility to make sure he was fed. It was your responsibility to make sure he was taken care of. It was your responsibility to make sure that he was taking his meds. It was your responsibility to make sure he was cleaned up and taken, in good condition.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of those things that I mentioned weren't being accomplished. And it all falls back on you because you are the guardian. They gave you the responsibility. They felt like you were worthy of that responsibility for that human being. Okay?
But do you? You're nodding. It's that you say you understand that, but do you understand that we want you to realize that you're not taking responsibility for any of this? That you think that what you did was perfectly fine. You're sorry that he died, but I don't really believe that you are at this point. I'm having a hard time understanding you saying I understand when it was your responsibility to do these things. It was your responsibility to feed him, to clean him, to love him, to hold him, not to put him in a room on a cot that's covered in feces with restraints and a locked door in a room that is cold as can be, the coldest room in your entire house, with chemicals and detergents and nothing there for him to do other than lay on that cot. He could have done anything else. He could have sat in that room upstairs with you.
He does.
You're worried about
did.
not being able to take care of him and handle him. I'm going to tell you this right now. He was skin and bones. You could have done anything you need to do to control him physically. He was not that powerful. He was not that strong. Don't shake your head because he's not that strong. He's not that strong. You're stronger than him. You're
No.
bigger than
He
him.
probably
bigger than
couldn't even stand.
He barely, if he could stand up,
Y'all don't need to do anything to. What are you doing?
it's because you said when he had seizures and all these things, he was violent. He had to do that. I
Yeah,
understand
he was.
seizures, but
Yeah.
what about all the other times?
Do you
Why
understand
have
when
to stay in
people
that room?
have seizures that they're more lethargic?
No.
They're lethargic. When they come out of their seizure, they're very lethargic.
Okay. Well, I want you all to take a look at this. I had to call 911 a couple of years ago,
We know.
and they came out, and the first thing that they said, did he hurt you all? Because he was very, very aggressive, and that's how he was. He was very aggressive
Wait, when?
when he had a seizure.
When he had a seizure.
Mhm.
Okay. How often did he have these seizures?
He was having them very frequently.
And is that because he wasn't getting his medication?
No, I think it was. No, he was getting his medication.
I mean, if he was getting his medication, I would believe. He's taking medication to stop the seizures.
Mhm.
When again, years ago, when he was taken care of very well, seizures wasn't an issue.
What from what I understand with Dr. Shapiro, a lot of kids with autism end up having seizures quite frequently. JJ was just late doing it.
Okay.
How many seizures do you think you had at ABS?
He didn't have any yet, but there were times that I had to call when he did have seizures, and he
But
would.
he only had seizures. He didn't have seizures at ABS. He didn't have seizures in the doctors. You had to call for whatever. And I get it.
I can't explain why. I can't explain when.
Well,
he
again,
had
see,
seizures.
this is where we're trying to figure things out.
Mhm.
Okay, because when we talk to you, your main focus is seizures. That's all you talk about is seizures. But when I talk to anybody that took care of him or had, any type of, like, the schools is what I'm saying, or the doctors and everything else, the seizures was in his medical history,
You have to.
but they never had any issues with him.
He didn't get diagnosed with seizures until COVID, when he was at home. When he was attending ABS, the first part, he did not have seizures.
Okay, well, ABS is telling me something different because he didn't go. He went back to ABS for a very short period of time after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But they say yes, seizures was in his medical history, but they never had an issue with seizures.
He wasn't there that long.
What do you mean? He was there for years.
No. When he went back, when he was formally diagnosed, is what I'm saying.
COVID, you mean.
Correct.
Okay. No, you're right. He was. And again, I could tell you as much about. I think I could tell you as much about JJ as you could tell me about JJ because I have done nothing but investigate this for the last 2.5 months. I know everything about JJ. I know everything about you, your family, and everything else. So that's why I am frustrated. I want to give you the opportunity to do the right thing, but you keep doubling down and you refuse to tell us the truth because we know the truth. Okay? That's why there's times where we come in these rooms and we don't know exactly what happened and we need to try to work that out of the person. I know exactly what happened. Okay? But I wanted to give you an opportunity to show some remorse, to help us, understand why JJ died. JJ was a healthy young man.
Mm-hmm.
Besides his autism, I mean, he didn't, when I say healthy young man, he didn't have heart disease.
No.
He didn't have diabetes.
No.
He didn't have high blood pressure.
No.
He didn't have any of those things that usually kill a human being.
Absolutely correct.
So he didn't just die. He died because there was a chronic neglect of his well-being.
He suffered and suffered and suffered. This wall's gray, right?
Yeah.
Yes. You're telling me every time I say this wall's gray, you're basically saying no to everything that we're telling you. That can't be true. I'm telling you this wall's gray, and you're saying no, it's black. I'm telling you it's gray. You're saying no. That's what's going on right now. You're saying you gave us meds. There's no indications that he was
I
giving
had
us meds.
just given him his medication and Caesar medication nasally from his nasal passage. I just did that. I don't understand.
Did you do it after he'd already passed?
No. He had a seizure. He could have had a seizure after he passed.
Then why isn't it his
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't. And I just don't. I don't understand why his medication wasn't in his system.
Can we work on a little bit of logic at this point? Can we go with logic? What's logical at this point? I think that's kind of where we are. We're trying to come up with reasonable logic as to why things are happening, while you're coming up with just completely irrational logic to say you don't know why. But the answer is you do know why.
I don't.
People starve because they're not fed. That's the logical conclusion, right? People that are supposed to take meds but they're not in their system, it's because they weren't getting their meds. That's logical. You can't make a phone call unless you put the number in and press send. That's logical. Why are we not talking about what the logical conclusion is for how and why JJ died? Why are we just sitting here talking about you saying, I don't understand that? I understand, but I don't understand. I can't believe it. I don't understand why. No one's going to believe this. They're going to be with me. Why are we
I
not
didn't say
talking
they
about
would believe with me. I did not say that.
when I just asked you about your family,
Yeah, I said-
they wouldn't.
And I said I would think they would, but that's not the point at this point. The point is, I did everything that I possibly could. I did not starve my son. Yes, I was overwhelmed, very much so. A lot of things happened. But I did not just leave him in a room and ignore him. That has never happened. Never.
Logic would suggest otherwise at this point.
Okay, well, I'm telling you that it didn't happen that way, sir. I'm telling you about my life. It
And
did
what
not.
happened? Why did JJ die?
I didn't, until you all told me, I would not have imagined.
Forget about what we told you.
Okay.
JJ was in your care.
Mm-hmm.
Why did JJ die? Like I told you, JJ was a healthy young man.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have any, diseases that would kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Why did JJ die under your care?
I wouldn't have known. I thought I was doing everything.
You know why you don't know? It's because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. You didn't take care of
No.
it. You stopped. Something happened and you stopped, which is what we're telling you.
I
Tell us when that happened. Tell us when that started. Tell us when things got to the point where you couldn't keep taking care of him. Was it a plan? Did you have a reason? Did William come up with something and say, hey, we can't do this anymore. In order for us to live our lives, we can't have JJ. He's going to be like this forever.
absolutely not.
Or that he didn't want him? Did he force you to make a choice? I mean, see, these are
No,
things
I understand.
That could have easily happened, and it happens every day in this world.
No, there was never. And if he ever tried to make that choice, it'd always be JJ.
Okay.
It'd
Right.
always be JJ.
And I'm not going to take away what you did for the last 16 years for JJ. 15 and a half years. Actually, 16 years. Because he just turned 17 a few days ago.
Yes, he did.
So you did a wonderful job taking care of a very highly needs person. That he needed someone there 24 hours a day. It's taxing. I get it. I understand. But I don't, again, you can say what you want to. All right. But somewhere down the line, and I'm going to ask you again, there was a point where you couldn't do it anymore. Not that you didn't want to, not that you didn't love him, not that you didn't want the best for him, but just mentally and physically, because of your illnesses, you could not take care of him. It may not even been a choice. But there was a point where you stopped.
I pushed on I did not intentionally ever try to stop. I would push myself to make sure that he was okay.
He wasn't.
I
He was
didn't.
malnutrition. He was severely underweight. Okay? His muscles were like his body had eaten his muscles away to try to survive. Do you understand that?
Understand.
Those are things that we know for a fact.
Mhm.
His body was eating his muscles to try to survive because he didn't have the appropriate nutrients in his body to survive because he was not being fed.
And he couldn't say, feed me. He couldn't
He
say,
could.
Well, not
not enough to the point where you or William were taking care of him. He was in a room that nobody on this planet would think is reasonable for a child to be in. Anyone.
He wouldn't stay in the room. He would be with me during the day. He would be with me. Do you
He died in
understand
that
that?
room.
I understand
He
that.
died in that room. He shouldn't have been in that room, ever. I'm going to tell you that. He shouldn't have been in that room, ever.
That could be it. I thought I was doing what the best thing for him as far as
There's a
one.
room right next to there that had a bed, that had
That was
in there.
that was William's room, and it was
It doesn't
disgusting.
matter whose room it is. You're an adult. He's an adult. He's a child. He's special needs. He needed help. He needed things that you guys also needed, but he needed them more. And you're right. You did everything you could. He needed them more.
Mhm.
But at some point, more was for you and not him.
No, there was never more for me. Never. Never. That's not true.
Well, I will tell you that you've been eating, you've been drinking, you've been sleeping in a bed, you've been warm, you've been.
I have not really.
I
No.
mean, other than I get your cold here, but again,
No. At home, I've been cold.
you had 2 refrigerators with lots of food.
That were not my refrigerators.
well, the one was.
The one.
Again, it is not logical for you to sit here and say that you were not allowed to eat that food that was in there.
And in my big refrigerator, a lot of that food was William's. He had both refrigerators. He had the 2 that were downstairs, and he would put his food in my refrigerator. Do you all understand
I
that?
understand. So William didn't want to give
No.
food to
No.
JJ
He
either?
did not.
And did he convince you to not feed JJ at any point?
Absolutely not.
Then how did JJ not eat?
I don't understand that. I thought that maybe with his attitude change, he was depressed, but I didn't think that he wasn't eating.
His attitude change was probably depression from the standpoint of, why am I not getting fed? Why am I not getting food and water? Why am somebody not taking care of me? Why am
I had just given him
I'd be
something to eat.
depressed?
No, you did.
I did. Okay,
No, you did.
I did.
He didn't eat it.
And you didn't see him eat it. And you're relying on William now at this point, who, after we've sat here and talked to you, that your mom was 30% of the help, but really for transportation. William's no help.
But you're depending on him to help.
And now you're
I
pointing
have
the finger
been.
at everybody else but you.
I'm not pointing the finger at my mother.
Why
Look,
not?
say
Your mom
the-
took care of him. I think your mom was way more than 30% of the needs that she took care of him.
What if I told you that your mom spoke to one of the ladies at ABS and told them that she was very concerned about JJ's well-being if something ever happened to her?
Mm,
You think it could be a true statement?
no. My mother had dementia, so
Well,
I
at
don't
the
believe
end.
that she could
She
say
had
that.
dementia at the end. Babe.
No.
I mean, she
That
couldn't
was
have had
not-
dementia when she was driving JJ around, taking him to
As I
school.
look back,
Correct?
no, that is very incorrect.
Okay.
Until they-
That's a scary thought that you
Yeah.
have.
Well, I didn't know. I would see things, but I didn't know. I didn't know. And then COVID hit, and it was best for us to stay at home.
Okay. Well, we've given you every opportunity to tell us what happened. And I will tell you, it's my opinion, and I think Lieutenant Wiltshire probably feels the same way. You're just doubling down on the lies, and you're trying to protect yourself. But in essence, I think what you're going to do is end up hurting yourself even more.
I'm really not trying to protect myself. I'm trying
Well,
to give you.
Here's what's going to happen. If we go to court,
Mhm.
okay? If we go to court and you sit in courtroom and you say, no, I fed him, I did this, I did that, everything else, and we show that he had no food in his belly, you're going to look like a fool in court. No one's going to believe it.
They're going to have a hard time doing that as well.
Yeah, I can't believe an attorney would even do that. I mean, he may suggest you take a plea and be done with it. I mean, because I don't know, again, the evidence, the facts, the things that you can't argue are overwhelming in this case. Overwhelming.
Mhm.
So you can get on the stand and say, I fed him, I took care of him, and everything else. But then we're going to get on the stand and say, well, he starved to death. He had no food. He had no fluids in his body. He didn't have, his body was eating his muscles. He was extremely malnutrition. He was extremely underweight. I mean, I could go on and on and on. He probably at the very end couldn't even stand up because he was so weak. So for you to say that he came upstairs and he was with you and everything else couldn't be true.
It is true. He came upstairs the night before when he had the seizure. He walked up the steps. He walked up the steps and said, JJ, you're going to fall.
Now, I'm going to stop you because in your first, you did stop him. Now, I will say in your first interview, you said he attempted to come upstairs and you stopped him and you took him back down and you put him to bed.
Correct.
And he went to bed around 9:30.
That's right.
And then you didn't check on him again until 11.
That's right.
If you're so concerned about him and he's having all these seizures and everything else, I don't know how you could wait till 11 a.m. to go check on him anyway.
Okay, I understand.
But again, I'll be honest.
Can I finish what I was going to say?
Go ahead.
I was very sick, so I depended on William to check on him.
So that's different than what you told us last time. That is a change in your story. You never mentioned anything about you being sick, vomiting violently, or anything else the first time that you.
I said I had 3 autoimmune diseases. I said that, but I didn't go into detail about how sick I was.
But none of these affect your brain to the point where you can't do logical things like take care of a child that needs you. They're physical ailments that affect you.
That's not necessarily true. No.
So if that's the case, then we're never going to be able to discuss logic at this point if you're telling me that's the issue. So it's either all you or it's not you. So you can't say you did everything, but then say you didn't do anything. You can't say William did it because he's not here. And claim that you made all that everything, that he did nothing. He wasn't part of it. So
I'm saying that I gave and did everything I could for my son, and that I never tried to give up or never would let him starve or set him in a room and let him sit down with feces and have a dog collar and all these things. I'm saying that the reason why he was in that room, yes, things have been crazy. William said, we'll put him in that room. It's colder upstairs in your room. I have an electric blanket that heats me up. I was afraid to put an electric blanket on JJ. It's just my fear. We set him in there the day before he had a seizure. I gave him some tomato soup. I did not give him any solids because I was afraid that if he had a seizure, that something would get stuck. I gave him that. I gave him his emergency medicine and something to drink. I did do that. We set him down there. He liked the cot. That was for some reason, his favorite thing. Was it stupid to have the things? Probably. But after a seizure, when he had a seizure, JJ would get very strong and hit and bite and scratch.
understand.
Let me finish. That night, he started walking upstairs. I took him back down the steps and put him back to sleep because I was afraid that if he got to the top level of the steps, he would fall and hurt himself. Would I intentionally hurt or starve my son? Never. Never. And what's sad about his death, I feel like my soul has been ripped out of my chest. For you to insinuate that I show no remorse is ridiculous. I am grieving. I've been grieving for a long time. I've tried to cooperate a lot with you all. When I saw him downstairs, my mind was not right. I thought I could wake my son back up. I thought I could wake him back up. I called for William. I screamed. He was just casually in the van. I'm sad that he's gone. That's what I'm remorseful for. I wish I could hug my son again. I wish this never happened. But me being a person that just not taking care of my son or my responsibilities, I've never been that way. Am I tired? Absolutely. Did I lose my mother? Absolutely. Did I care for my mother? Absolutely. Did I put a lot into her as well? Absolutely. But for me to withhold food, it's never been like that. Anything that he's wanted, if I can't eat, he can eat. Do you think that you're saying you're insinuating that I put stuff on myself? I haven't. Everything that I've done in my life has been about him. Couldn't get the electricity. William wasn't helping. Family could not help me. They were kind of helping during the process of my mom being buried. My point was to go to people working cooperatively and get help and call them as much as I could. They were like, electricians are hard to find. You're sorry. I went to my father. Didn't seem like he could help. There was nobody that could help us. What I did discover when I cleaned the downstairs, because I wondered why our electricity would go out at night, which it did. Great that you all were there. You got adequate light and electricity. My mother's room didn't really have light. The hallway doesn't have light. The bathroom, the main bathroom, the light goes on and off. So I don't understand. JJ's room doesn't have any power at all. I don't understand how you all got electricity, but somehow magically you did. In the middle of the night, the heat goes out. But what I didn't know was that William was downstairs with 2 heaters that would pull. According to the people from Duke Energy, they said that we need a new wiring system, that ours was old. Try not to have too many things on at once, because if you do, you'll have to go down to the fuse box. You can't, we bought a little burner. We can't use the stove. The refrigerator works. There's no hot water. There's no hot water. I have to boil water, have to sit in the tub and pour the water over you. If you all looked, you see all of the men's products. Those are not Williams. Those are the products that I buy for JJ. Deodorants, colognes, Suave body wash, his toothbrushes, my mom's toothbrushes. That's the type of parent that I've been. I've advocated wholeheartedly for my son. And I understand that this gentleman said, Detective Kada, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, previously. Yes, it got overwhelming, but I did not know. In my mind, I thought by having this appointment with this new neurologist that I could get an opening as to maybe his medication. Was it depression? What was going on with his weight loss? Is he growing? But my mother was his friend. They were friends. She was not his primary caregiver. In the many years that he was alive, my mother bought him a shirt. She didn't have to buy him anything. That he wasn't under her care. I bought all of his clothes, and if you all saw, he had tons of clothes, shoes, whatever, and my father would send things as well. I brushed his teeth. I gave him his medicine. I was very much of a stickler. He needs this vitamin. He needs that vitamin. He needs cod liver oil. He needs flaxseed oil. Even when speaking with people at ABS, he had a special diet. Mom brought him there, but my mother, but I was the one who bought the banana chips and the juice and everything else. Yes, he did have a history of pica, but he had outgrown that thanks to ABS. Putting him downstairs, I didn't think that maybe he would get into anything to drink because he hadn't done that. He couldn't open a cabinet and drink. So I figured it was safe. My main concern was him being in a heated environment. It's him being warm. I didn't care about me being cold. The living room is warm when you get there, but in the middle of the night, because William would be pulling either being in the van or being downstairs, all of that goes off. The heat downstairs, I don't know how that works, sir. Maybe I've been tired. Maybe, I can say that I didn't have everything together, but I had been planning on making things right little by little to make sure that both him and myself were okay. So I put him in there. He had a seizure, and I'm like, okay, we're just going to set him in here. It's warmer. It's cozier. He won't be somewhere where the heat will get cut off. At no time did I think he was just sitting in feces and he doesn't even really bound movement on himself. Nobody's seen him with feces on it. I keep him very clean. Even when we don't have hot water, I've made a way. You take a pot, set him on the chair, take a cup, pour it over him. We have wipes all over the house, tons of baby wipes. We get baby wipes, we clean him. He's got pull-ups everywhere. That's no problem. He'll either go get a pull-up or I get a pull-up. I have them in my purse. They're in the car. Well, they were in the car before it burned up. I've always done what I could to make sure that he was okay. Yes, perhaps that morning, I woke up, I was very sick. My last bit of Lord help me help was to call these places to see if my mom had something, so we could get this electricity fixed. In my mind, we get the electricity fixed. We get all that stuff out because my mother was a hoarder. Get all that junk out, clean it up, get these people to help, or maybe by then people working cooperatively would have called us. We get it together and live in a safe house. Or if they couldn't do it, sell the house as is, get the stuff out, and JJ and I go somewhere where it's neat and clean. It's always been about JJ. Always been about him. Always. It wasn't that I got so much into myself that I'm feeding myself or William or whatever and neglecting my son. He's been priority. He has his own plates. He has his own cups. He has his own food when I have it. Now, there has been some days where it's been a little leaner. My aunt has sent Instacarts. A lot of the food in the refrigerator did not belong to me. William had a refrigerator downstairs. He would go and he would sometimes eat our food as well and his food. But at no point ever, ever would I just go, oh, you know what? I'm overwhelmed. I can't do it. I'm not going to feed my son. I would feed him. That particular day, because I was sick and William was there, and in a bag, I don't know if you guys saw these little baggies with these little applesauce cups and breakfast bars, which were his treats. Can you give him this for me, please? I'm not well. He said yes. And I believe that he would do that day. I don't know why the medicine isn't coming up. I don't know why it's saying that he wasn't fed, because I fed him. When we were at the hotel previously, William would wake up, he'd go to the breakfast bar for continental breakfast, he'd come and get blueberry muffins and granola bars. That was a snack that I didn't have to buy. So at this little bitty confined area, JJ would go whenever he wanted to, but he'd have to have the bananas. I always had fresh fruit. He wasn't even a junk kid. You're not going to see, if you see soft drinks, it's me. I don't even think he's ever had a soft drink before. He drinks water. He drinks juice. I cooked for him. I've done whatever I possibly could. I don't understand why he didn't have food in his system. That wasn't intentional. It wasn't like I was just so lax. No matter how sick I am, no matter how tired I am, he's been my first priority. He's been my first priority. I don't just sit him in there all day. He gets up, he comes up the steps, he eats, we do work. He's around me all day long, and he's fine. We've got things on YouTube that he specifically likes. We have books that he has. There are things that he does. My aunt buys him books, his things he loves to bird watch. When the dog was alive, he grabbed his book, he'd get the dog, and they go out on deck, and that was their relaxing moment. We do work, he'd come back in, drink a little, eat something, and then go back outside. I've never intentionally or tried to ever neglect him. I thought I've been doing the best that I could, and I thought I was feeding my son. I thought I was caring for my son. At no point did I sit there and go, well, you know, I'm not going to feed him. I don't love him. I'm too tired. It's never been that. It's always been about him. It's always been about him. So you all can say you went in there and there was great electricity. That's not how it works. I would wake up in the middle of the night, there would not be heat. Now, had I known that William was downstairs with two heaters pulling the heat, or the car was sitting there pulling the heat, the electricity rather, not the heat, in hindsight, it would have been better. But to deal with him in his mouth, to deal with him in an argumentative state, it was too much. My best way was to move and get him out of our lives. And then JJ and myself could live a good life, a good life. I worked hard to try to provide. I worked hard to have a good life. No, we don't have very much. My mother had showed signs in and out. I didn't know it was dementia, but she would drive, but she showed signs that some things weren't right. And it happened more so in COVID. The first seizure happened at home during COVID. So when you guys interviewed people at ABS initially, he never had it. We called Dr. Shapiro. He started having these grand mal seizures. But everything was about him. My mother could barely care for herself at some points to be able to care for JJ.
I hear everything that you're saying. I believe that for the longest of times, that's exactly what you did to take care of him, just like Detective Ko said.
I would never not take care. I would never withhold anything. If I didn't eat, if I didn't have things, he had things. He had things. He had food. It was there.
It was there. You had plenty of food. That's not the issue. And Tamara, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to back down because I have worked on this too long. I've got too much information. I know too much of the facts to allow you to sit here and try to blow smoke to divert what we're focusing on. Okay. You were a good mother. Okay. You brought him up and you took care of him for 15 and a half, 16 years, whatever it was. But there was a point recently where you stopped. Okay? Your body doesn't start to eat your muscles away, okay, just overnight. That is a long period of time. My dad had cancer, and I watched him go from 260 pounds to 160 pounds because he wouldn't eat. And his body, the only way his body could survive was to eat the muscle for energy. That's the only way. And that's exactly what happened to JJ. Over a period of time, his body ate his muscle, it ate its fat, it ate everything it could to try to survive. And it finally got to the point where it could survive no more. Because he was not being fed. He was not being taken care of. And you tell me, look at this room. This is the room that you put him in. Look at the clutter. Look how everything looks like. I mean, you gave him if the cot was there, you gave him a 2 foot by 3 foot area to be able to stand in.
Well,
It's worse than jail.
I understand that.
Okay? It was, you could say it was the warmest area in the room. It was 56 degrees when we were there. You can say you didn't lock him in a room, but the lock shows on the outside of the door.
You know
okay?
what? This lock was there when we bought this. No one, this lock has been
You
there.
want to tell me that's his favorite cot? Look at the condition of it. Take the poop stains away.
And I will
It's
claim it.
frayed.
I know.
It's
I
a
understand.
mess.
I understand.
Okay?
I
Look
understand.
at this. This is what he was living in. This is what he was laying in.
It's not one day. That's a lot.
Look at his diaper. You
I
can't
wasn't.
say that you changed him.
I did.
Okay?
I did.
Look at this. Look at it. Look at all the food in the refrigerator. There's no way a young man should ever die from starvation when you've got that much food in the refrigerator.
That's not all of my food, but I did.
Tamara, be a human being right now. Be a human being. Act like you have a little bit of compassion to this young man.
Can you please lower your voice a little bit? I am.
You are not. You are not. You're doubling down. You're lying. You're not telling us the truth. And I'm done with it.
Okay.
If that's what you want to do, you do it. And good luck in court.
JJ didn't deserve this. He did not.
JJ was 100% dependent on you to take care of
I
him.
understand that. I understand that.
And if you were doing what you say you were doing, he wouldn't have been as malnutritioned as he was.
And I'm sorry for it. I miss him, and I'm sorry. I don't.
I'm sure you miss him. I know you loved him. I'm not saying any of that. I will never say that you didn't love him. I will never say that you did your best. But I will absolutely get on the stand and testify that there came a day where you gave up.
Mhm.
Or maybe not even gave up, just couldn't do it anymore.
I never.
You just couldn't do it
I
anymore.
never gave up.
Well, I'm telling you, the evidence is different, and I'm not going to waste your time or my time any further, okay?
I understand.
The detective stops arguing. He spreads the crime scene photos across the table. The feces-covered cot, the filthy diaper, the cluttered laundry room, the refrigerator full of food. This is psychological reality testing, forcing her to confront the physical evidence her words have denied. This moment reveals a critical forensic psychology concept. When confronted with irrefutable visual proof, a guilty person often shifts to procedural complaints rather than emotional accountability. She cannot look at the photos and say, "I love him," in the same breath, so she looks away. The detective knows. The jury will know.
We'll be right back.
Mhm.
Okay, that's your parole. Don't put it on in here, okay?
No.
We'll let a female officer come in.
Is there anything else you want to say? Talk to the other two that were in here before. Anything else you want to go over? Anything like that? Just kind of giving you one last, I don't know, different change of pace, different face in here.
No, I appreciate you giving me that option. I'm just kind of in shock right now. I would never do anything to harm my son. I want to state that. And
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it one last opportunity. That's my job. Okay, is to give you an opportunity to, I don't know, help yourself out, if you will. Okay, I've been a police officer a really long time. I've been through numerous death investigations, homicide, trials, all the above. Okay, and you've never been through this. Okay, and here's how this is going to go. Okay, we always prepare for the worst case scenario. Okay, worst case for us meaning that this ultimately is a trial. Okay, and I fully appreciate and understand the fact that this is absolutely everything for you. Okay, this is 100% all about you right now. Okay. What the state is going to do, okay, is the state is going to prove their case. All right. Well, how they do that is in front of a jury. Okay. And what they're going to do is they're going to say things like, they're going to get up there and they're going to start laying out pictures. Okay. This is in front of the jury. They're going to say, hey, look at this. Look at this. Look at this cot. Look at the conditions of this. Look at this. That's JJ in a diaper. They're going to look at, these things, all of these things. Okay,
Yeah.
they're going to paste them up. I mean, it's not going to be these little pictures. These are nothing. It's going to be big, blown up on a big TV screen. It's going to be a grease board. I mean, it's going to be a presentation. Okay, they're going to pull up, things like the door lock. They're going to pull up things like the ambient temperature in the room. Okay, they're going to pull up pictures of how big or how small the room is, how cluttered the room is. Okay, and how there's just objects or furniture, washer, dryer, all that stuff that's in there. And they're going to put all of this stuff up there, okay?
Yes.
And I mean, they're the dog collar. They're going to pull up the pictures of his neck. They're going to pull up the pictures of the ligature marks around his wrist. They're going to pull up the pictures of the restraints. They're going to put all of this stuff up there. And then you know what they're going to do? Then they're going to turn around. I mean, the food. Another thing they'll put up there too is the autopsy report. It's going to show the cause of death. It's going to show the manner of death. And the only thing and then they're going to say, okay, now it's our job, it's police department job to investigate all this and talk to the people that may or may not have known about all this stuff. And the best thing that just so I understand, the best response you're going to come up with is, this is all a lie. You did the best you could to take care of him. You did absolutely the best. And I want you to be fully aware of that. And here's what I personally think is going on with you. I'm a parent myself, okay? And if this were to happen to one of my children, okay, the first thing you need to do is take responsibility for it yourself. I don't think you want to take responsibility for any of the stuff because you would have to say, I am responsible for this, let alone going into court and saying, hey, I was overwhelmed. I screwed up. I'm a human being too. I've got my own issues, health issues. I was grieving over the loss of my own mother, and I'm going to tell you this is that judges, juries, we're all human beings, we're all people, and we look for a reason why things happen, okay? Rather than just looking at someone and saying, hey, this person's an absolute monster, okay? And then I'm telling you right now, from what they just told me, okay, I'm looking at all these pictures, okay,
Yes.
is that without an explanation, they're going to think you're a monster. How in the world could one human being do this to another human being, especially one that they reared from since before they were 1 year old? Can you explain any of this?
I'm not a monster. I love my son. There were some overwhelming circumstances. He was fed.
Are you sorry any of this happened?
I'm sorry that he's gone.
Are you sorry about any of the circumstances?
Absolutely.
Are you sorry that all this stuff even happened? This
Yes,
even
I do.
came to be?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
I'm sorry that this happened to him, period. I wish he was here. I wish I could hug him.
What about the things that led up to all this?
I explained to the detectives that the restraints were there. I'd never used them, just a few times when I gave him his medicine when he had seizures. He was always changed. He didn't lie around in feces.
Here's one. Go ahead, finish that thought.
I fed him. That was the warmest place that I thought at the time. It was temporary. He could come upstairs. He could walk around. He could go outside. He wasn't locked in a room.
What?
It was just this.
Here's what I'll tell you. I believe what you're saying is true and accurate. Okay, up to a certain point. He obviously thrived. I mean, he was 16 years old. Okay, so you've had him you had him 15 years. He obviously at some point in time that was true, but at some point in time there was a turning point that no longer became true. And I'm guessing your mother passed when?
November.
Okay, so 3-4 months before all this happened. I'm going to guess that was a turning point in your life. It was a turning point in my life. I imagine it's a turning point in 99.9% of all people, when their parents die. It's supposed to be that way. You're supposed to outlive your parents.
Yeah.
I imagine that was the same thing for you. Okay? So let's work with that. Okay, so it's a turning point in your life. Things are very emotional. Okay?
Am I allowed to make a phone call at any time?
Well, let's get through this. Okay?
Sure.
So, I imagine that was a turning point in your life. Okay. Would it be a fair statement to say that things may have not went as smoothly after that as they did before that?
Life has not been as smoothly.
Okay.
As for JJ as well, he was depressed. I was depressed. We lost a dog. On top of that, the car burned down. Life has been rough. The electricity wasn't adequate. We were running out of money. Yes.
Okay. How else did things get? What else different happened with JJ? Like they told me that he used to, I guess, spend the night in your room or your bed or upstairs or whatever. That things get a little bit more stressful, and that's when he transitioned downstairs.
No, the electricity, there wasn't adequate enough heat. That was the only place that at the time I thought he could get heat. Our electrical wiring is messed up.
So let me ask you this then, okay? I know this may not be the entire laundry room. Where's the heat source in that laundry room?
Right here.
That's it, just that one little heater?
Correct. That's all we could use.
That's all you could use. When was the last time you checked on it that night? I mean, if it's 52 degrees in there, it didn't get 52 degrees in 45 minutes.
It was the morning it was earlier in the day before you all came.
Okay. So if it was 5, 6 o'clock in the late afternoon, early evening, when you called 911, when was the last time you checked?
Earlier that day, I had William go downstairs first to check and feed him, and I thought that the heat was on. It's always warmer down there.
Okay. So you didn't feed him soup? You had William check on him?
I fed him soup. Not at that time. No, at that time, applesauce and a breakfast bar.
On the day that you called 911?
Correct.
Okay. So can you reconcile the fact that the coroner is going to say something exactly opposite of that?
From my understanding from what you all said, I don't understand how, I don't understand why, but that's what they found.
Well, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, okay? Because it sounds to me like you're not accepting the fact that you're responsible for all of this, let alone going to say you're sorry for all of this. I mean, this is all you. All of this. This is 100% you. Okay? You're responsible for all this. He's yours to take care of. And you did not take care of him. You did not give him enough nourishment or attention to survive. And he died.
That, I'm sorry. For that, I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about?
That he's gone. That he died.
Are you sorry that you were responsible for this and you're sorry that it happened and you were overwhelmed?
Yes, I was overwhelmed.
Would you be a fair statement to say because you're overwhelmed, some things were overlooked?
I was sick that particular day, and I depended on someone that maybe I shouldn't depend on. That's fair to say. So yes, that becomes part of the factor of being overwhelmed. Yes. Trying to get things together, trying to get electricity that particular day on the phone, trying to call OPERS to see if my mother had something left for us I could get the electricity. Yes, I was overwhelmed. Absolutely overwhelmed. When the police came, I don't know if they took pictures. There was food there because I was wanting him to eat later.
There was food where?
In the kitchen, on the kitchen counter.
Okay.
His favorite, SpaghettiOs and maybe a banana and something else, I don't know. But the SpaghettiOs I had taken out of the microwave. That was there for him to eat. I don't eat SpaghettiOs. So I don't understand that part. That there wasn't any food in his stomach.
Or his intestines.
I don't understand that.
I think you were overwhelmed for a lot longer than you think you were, or that you're leading on to be. And that doesn't happen overnight. I mean, he was malnourished and starved to death. That does not happen overnight. And you can see malnourished and starved to death. And then when somebody sees ligatures. They see evidence of the ligatures being used. They look at this. They look at that. How could any reasonable person come to any other conclusion?
He would scratch himself. That has nothing to do with anything. That would be his habit, scratching.
So what you're saying is all of this is self-inflicted, okay? And even though like this is going to be consistent with this, okay?
Ridiculous.
Well, that's fine. I'm just making sure I understand here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that knows anybody that's epileptic that goes through seizures, you don't restrain them. That's when they get hurt.
He got aggressive during that time. He would bite, kick, and to be able to get medication, and either rectally or nasally, I would have to do that. But I wasn't even using those. I should have cut them off.
So would his aggressive behavior cause that? The defecation and is aggressive behavior
I
keep you
don't.
from changing him for weeks?
Oh my goodness, it was not. Sorry.
What does that look like? And what's any person going to think when they see that? Most adults, not all, obviously, most adults have children or know people that have children that have seen dirty diapers.
I understand. That was not weeks. He was changed every day. There were tons of pull-ups, tons of walking.
That's a bold-faced lie that he was changed every day. Look at that. You can't sit there and tell me.
That day, I did not. That day, I did not. I did not even see that when I went downstairs. I didn't notice that he even defecated on himself. I did not.
What about the smell? There's no way you can walk in that small, tiny room with this cot and not notice the smell.
My son passed. I didn't notice it. I'm telling you.
Okay, before he passed, you said you went down there and fed him soup.
I did not see that. I did not see that. He had a blanket over him. I did not see that he did that. The night before.
How do you have a blanket over him if you fed him soup? He's not going to lay down and eat him soup.
He sat up and drank.
And you never smelled anything? You never noticed anything?
Not.
And you expect 12 jurors to believe that? No reasonable person is going to believe any of what you just said.
I don't understand why they wouldn't. I did not see any of
Because
that.
that's not normal.
I did not see any of that. I was sick. I did not see any of that.
After I walk in the room and smell that, I'd get sick too. I mean, I'm basically laying this all out to you, like saying, hey, I screwed up. I'm going to take responsibility for my actions here. And you're just like, nope, not going to happen.
Can I make a phone call, sir? I just.
Do you want to be done here?
I've spoken about this, to go over it and over and over it. I don't know what else to say. You are.
Okay. Well, I know what you could say is, hey, I screwed up. Absolutely. I screwed up. I need to take responsibility for my actions. That's what you could say. That would ring a note to a lot of people. They'd be like, hey, we all have issues in our lives. Okay. You had a bad one. Your mother had just passed. A lot was going on in your own personal life. And it's unfortunate, okay, that JJ died as a result of this.
It is.
Okay. You're right. It is. But on the other end of it too is to say that, hey, this is just business as usual, which is what you've exactly explained here. This is business as usual, and I don't understand how in the world he died. That's what you've explained. That's the way I understand it. If that's not accurate, then please let me know.
No, you've explained to me what happened. The detectives did. I don't understand for myself how he didn't have any food in his system. That's the hard part for me.
What about everything else?
I didn't see any defecation. The scratches he did. I never put my dog's dog collar on his neck. That's ridiculous. I thought with him being in there that he could get heat. That's just ridiculous.
So I'm going to paraphrase here, okay? This was just business as usual. This is just a regular day on Belgreen, whatever the address is, up on Belgreen. And it's unfortunate that he died this day. If that's not accurate, please let me know.
It's very sad. It's very unfortunate.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
That's accurate. Okay. All right. Well, it is what it is.
I don't know what were you getting at, but
I screwed up. I was in a dark place at this point in time. I should have given him more attention than what I did. But you're saying that no, you did absolutely nothing wrong, and you're as pure as the driven snow. That's what you've explained to me. This is business as usual. It's just so
I didn't know what you meant by that.
Absolutely nothing wrong when you came in there and fed him soup, which is an entire line of I can't reconcile that. I mean, I can't imagine that you didn't know something. If you really ate soup, drank soup, whatever you want to call it, he had to have sat up. You can't pantsuit when you're laying down.
I did not
And I
see
can't understand how if he sat up, like you said he did, how you wouldn't notice that. No reasonable person gonna be like, yeah, I could see how she'd overlook that. Nobody's gonna think
I didn't
that.
see that. But
How about I'm sorry? I'm sorry.
use those words. No. I wouldn't say the F word, but yeah. I'm sorry that he's gone. I'm sorry for the way that he's gone. I'm sorry if he suffered. I never left him unchanged. He had a seizure. I didn't want to move him. I was afraid if he walked up the steps, he would fall and hurt himself. I made an appointment the next day to be seen, even if it was virtually, with a neurologist with my concerns about his seizures and his health. I would never starve him. I was not putting him in there and putting a dog collar or locking him in there for any kind of whatever reason. That was the best thing at that time. The cot was easier. That was his favorite spot, no matter if it's raggedy or whatever. That was his thing. He loved that cot. The cot was better because the bed, he would fall off the bed and possibly hit his head during a seizure. So I just left that. My responsibility, yes, it was to take care of JJ. Yes, it was to make sure he was good. I thought that I was doing
Concrete floor there, isn't it?
yes, but it's still, better than other than upstairs.
Man, I'm sitting there looking at all these pictures. I'm sitting there looking at everything that's going on, and everything that you have said, and I'm just still trying to wrap my head around the fact that, I mean, at no point in time are you saying that,
I think that
I'm sorry for all of this. I'm sorry I screwed up. I should have done better. I should have done JJ better. May God have mercy on my soul because I should have done better. And you're like, no, business as usual. I didn't notice any of that
didn't
stuff.
say business as usual. That I did not say. I would say that I don't feel well. I'm very tired.
How do you think JJ felt?
I understand.
Look at that cot. How old is that cot? That cot is literally ripped to shreds right
That's
there.
his favorite cot. That I know it's not.
Do you think that's his favorite room too? I mean, the cold jail cells are bigger than that room.
For momentarily, I was getting the house together and cleaning the house. We hadn't been there that long. We had been at a hotel. We had been in a hotel. We had not been there that long. I was trying to get the people there, someone to help me to get the electricity together, to get the house clean, or to move. That was just temporary. That was the overwhelming part. Everything was about JJ.
Your bed look like that?
No, I don't sleep on the cot, but it's not that
Is your
nice.
bed full of feces and all that?
Of course not. No. No.
Is it warm upstairs in your bedroom?
No.
No, it's not?
No.
When the officers got there was like 74 or something like that.
They sit in the hallway.
In the hallway?
Yeah.
Okay.
My room is cold.
Oh, okay. Does he think it was like 50 degrees cold?
Probably, yeah. What I didn't know is that William had
Was it
two
cold?
heaters. Excuse me.
No, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
You had 2 heaters, go ahead.
That William was using downstairs that was was zapping the electricity.
Okay.
And so,
I get it, it's a bi-level heat rises.
no, that's not what I'm saying. We have electrical problems. It needed to be updated. The man at Duke said, try not to have too much on at one time. I didn't realize that William was putting 2 heaters on, but he was. I would have never had JJ downstairs. I would have kept him upstairs and put a heater on. And we could have both been warm. I was cold. I slept in a room that was cold every single night. I have the little plug-in in my wall. It does nothing. It just blows heat like a hairdryer in one area. My room is freezing. But I thought I was doing something to keep him warm with that heater. It just seemed to warm. And that's the best heater. You couldn't even put on that many space heaters at once without everything going out. That's what I'm saying.
Right?
That's my point.
All right, you got anything else you want to add or think or say or whatever?
I want to say that I would never do anything to intentionally inflict any pain or suffering on my son. That I have done the very best that I possibly could, and I didn't know I don't know where my mind was, but I didn't know. I fed him. When the officers came, I had food for him. There was food in the house. They opened up the refrigerators. That wasn't all of my food. That was William's, and he had a refrigerator downstairs. I have tried to do the best that I could in my life to treat people kindly and to not even have a traffic ticket. I've given everything to my mother and my son. I'm in a nightmare right now. I don't understand what happened. I don't understand what's going on. I'm not here to just continually go over. I'm a very sick person. You know, I never thought about calling someone and having him taken away. I thought that there was going to be a light at the end of the tunnel once I got electricity or once we sold the house and we could live a better life. We, meaning Jeremiah and myself. I've always fought for that. I've always fought for that. I can't explain him having a pull-up that was like that. Had I gone downstairs and I'd seen that, I had no problem changing him. I had plenty of pull-ups. I had plenty of wipes. We didn't have hot water, but he would sit in the tub. I'd boil the water and we'd have to improvise on how to wash him up. If they look, he had all kinds of cleaning products and body washes and toothpaste and all of that. Everything that I've done and every bit of my body has been to make sure that he was okay. I don't know what happened. I don't understand why they say they don't see any medication. He's had medication. He had seizure medication the night before nasally. I don't know why that's not coming up. I can't understand why there wasn't any food in his intestine. I don't know what to say. Now, as far as the responsibility of giving it to William when I was sick and saying, can you feed him? I should have just dragged my behind, even if I had to crawl, after violently throwing up and tried to feed JJ. I was very, very sick.
How you said you were sick? Like, tell me about that. Like, how sick were you? What do you mean? What do you mean?
3 autoimmune diseases.
Okay. I get it's a long term, but it's like you said violently throwing up. I mean,
yeah, that's what happens.
Okay. Right.
And so I depended on him thinking that he was going to do that. But it's not like I just said, oh, I'm going to give up. I'm not going to feed JJ. It's never been that way. Or I'm just going to set him down here and he's going to be locked up in this situation. It's never been like that. He comes upstairs, he reads, he watches YouTube, he goes to sit out on the deck, he watches birds. He does everything that I possibly could to make him happy. I was getting back to my life and making sure that he was getting back to his the best way that I could after caring for a very sick mother, after me being sick and trying to hold everything together. But I never in a million years would start. Half of the food that's there, I can't even eat. That is food for him. So when the detective said, you make sure you can eat, there's days I can't even eat that food. Those are things for JJ. Plates for JJ, shoes for JJ, clothes for JJ. Everything has been about him. When I don't have, he's had.
If your mother died,
a stroke. Well, she was
she
septic.
living with you? Or
Yeah, she was living with me. No, it was her caregiver. She was septic. She was septic.
She died at the house, or
she died in the hospital.
Okay, so I guess she got sick and went to the hospital. And
yeah, natural causes. And so I didn't starve her. Natural causes. And so everything that I did was to make sure that they were okay. Every single thing. It wasn't like I left him in there. I put a dog collar. I said, don't go here and just poop on yourself. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I loved him and I still do, and I will always love him. He'll always be my son. And for me to be accused like this, I know you all are only doing your job. I don't understand it. When I say that I don't understand why there wasn't any food, I don't. And for me to also say, well, didn't you all, when you came in, see that there was food that was there that it got? As a matter of fact, I was so depressed that I left his food out for about a week, wanting him to come back alive and eat the food. I was shocked when I discovered and saw him like that. I was shocked. I tried to rock him to sleep. I didn't know if there was feces or not. I probably had feces on my clothes. I don't know. I don't know, sir.
All right.
I don't know. I've been honest. I've been trying to give you all things. I've been trying to answer questions. You know, this is what I'm telling you, my truth, what I did and how I was able to take care of him. I would never withhold any food from my son. Never. And the night before,
Listen, I don't know you. I've never met you before a day in my life, okay? But from an outsider looking in, and this is the way it's going to be presented in court, is that your mother was probably the primary caregiver for JJ, and JJ survived about 3 months without her. And and obviously the end of it was him starving to death.
I don't understand that because she was paralyzed for about 3 years.
Well, apparently somebody was taking. Well, maybe at her direction you were taking care of him. But as soon as she stopped giving you direction, you quit doing it. I don't know.
No, sir. That's ridiculous. No,
I mean, your explanation of it didn't hold water for me,
I understand.
and I don't know how it's going to hold water for any other normal, rational human being.
Okay.
But if that's what you want to hang your hat on, personally, I think I'd be like, hey, I messed up. I screwed up.
Am I allowed to make a phone call and am I allowed to put on my bra?
Tamara Moore pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 15 to 20.5 years in prison. Her boyfriend, William Turnage, received 11 to 15.5 years after his own guilty plea. The judge called it the most heinous, worst case she had seen in 17 years on the bench.